Welcome to 100 Yards of Sports. Today we got our student athlete playbook segments. We're going to highlight 5 players across the country. So for further ado, let me turn it over to my man, the very talented Barry Brown.
Well, thank you. This is 100 Yards of Sports, the student athlete playbook segment with the Atlanta Voice. And we're going to start off with the Peach State, Mr. Football. The top student athlete playing the game of football, that's right, American football. We're going right out to South Fulton, Georgia. This young man, Trey Collins, you're talking about a 6'2", 190-pound safety, and I like him going to college, playing the strong safety position. But with that size of being 6'2", 190 pounds, Mr. Football, he may be moved over the corner where he can face up some of these larger wide receivers that are dominating the college game right now. So this young man has a lot to offer, and if he continues to develop, he's only a 3-star prospect, but if he develops, he could be a surprise in college football. He has 23 offers from your home state, the University of Tennessee, from one of my favorite college teams, the Georgia Tech Ramblin' Wreck, and also West Virginia, Florida, and Louisville.
When you're thinking about Mr. Collins and watching the kid's film, he reminds me of a great safety that got voted in the Hall of Fame that played at UCLA by the name of Kenny Easley.
That's right.
And then if you want to go local, he's kind of a guy that puts you in the mind of a guy that played with the Green Bay Packers, is now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Morgan Burnett.
Oh, I love it. So, hey, Langston Hughes has a big-time player in Mr. Collins, and shout out to Coach Cannon over there and the whole crew at Langston Hughes High School in South Fulton, Georgia. Now, we're going to move to the volunteer state, Tennessee. You should be familiar with this young man. That's right, Tennessee. They have a good one. Listen, Jaden Johnson, Kirby High School, out of your hometown, Memphis, Tennessee. Listen, guys, this is a quarterback, pro-style quarterback, 6'2", 208 pounds. And listen, looking at the film, he's accurate on the intermediate throws, accurate on the long throws, and has touch on those nice short throws. So I like Mr. Johnson, Jaden Johnson, a lot, and he's a Louisville commit. So with his arm strength, Coach Petrino over there at Louisville may have the one that he's been looking for who can throw the ball around. I know he just lost the Heisman Trophy winner, but this kid is a pro-style quarterback, not a dual threat. So shout out to Lamar Jackson, but this kid might be the real deal.
One thing I'm going to say about Mr. Johnson, when you talk about football brain, the kid has started from day one when he was a 9th grader. That just says it all. And he learned a very complex playbook over there at Kirby High School, which is in Southwest Memphis.
All right. So we're going to keep on moving. We're going to go to Ohio. And I know you like to say this is the state dominated by who?
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
But this young man is actually committed to Notre Dame. His name is Tommy Etchenberg from St. Ignatius High School out of Cleveland, Ohio. Now, this young man, he just jumped off the screen for me when I was looking at some video on him. You're talking about a 6'3", 225-pound inside linebacker. And I'm telling you, he's filling every gap on run plays. And this guy, when you put him out on the edge, he's getting to the quarterback. This is a big-time player coming out of Cleveland, Ohio.
When you look at this young man here, all you got to think about all the great linebackers that came out of this state. Chris Spillman.
Yes, sir.
Randy Grandershaw.
Yes, sir.
Here recently, Bobby Carpenter. And here recently, A.J. Hawk. He is just as good as any of those 4 gentlemen I just mentioned.
And I believe it. When I saw him on tape, I definitely thought about Spillman. I definitely thought about those great Ohio State linebackers.
Yes,
but Notre Dame has them right now. But, hey, I bet you Ohio State is trying to sneak in there. Now, going to the hook-on state, Texas, baby. Listen, when you play football in Texas, you know it's very serious football out there. The young man, the student athlete we're going to highlight this week from the state of Texas is no other than DeAndre Glass out of Katy High School, Katy, Texas. And when I looked at the video on this young man, this is a running back that's a slasher, Mr. Football. This young man hits the hole, and usually when he hits the hole, he is gone. You're talking about a young man that was a freshman All-American. You're talking about a young man as a sophomore with the overall MVP. And I think that's district, what's that? Let me get this right so everybody can talk about it correctly. District 19, 6A as a junior. And then as a sophomore, he was the overall MVP in that district. So you're talking about an explosive running back here in Mr. Glass.
Well, when you look at Mr. Glass and you think about the state of Texas, and I'm going to put his talent up there with all the great running backs that came out of that state.
Yes, sir.
Earl Campbell, Tyler, Billy Sims out of Hooks, Texas, OU.
Right.
Adrian Peterson out of Pakistan, OU.
Yes.
The other gentleman, Craig James out of Houston, Stratford. And of course, you couldn't be more than mention Eric Dickerson out of Sealy. Mr. Glass talent is just in the same boat as all those great players I just mentioned out of the state of Texas.
No doubt. Shout out to Mr. Glass. And I don't know how LSU is doing it, but he's an LSU commit, and we know the line of running backs that they've had recently. So this young man fits right in there with the great running backs at LSU.
You know, and he went to the same high school as a gentleman right now that's on the center for the Cincinnati Bengals, Andy Dalton.
That's right.
Same high school.
Yes, sir. And now, we're going to finish up our list today of our top 5 student athletes that play the game of American football.
Just got serious.
Listen,
here.
We're talking about probably and arguably the #1 recruit in the country. His name is Kaiba Thibodeau out of Oaks Christian Academy High School out of Thousand Oaks, California. You see, Mr. Football can't wait to talk about this young man. You're talking about 6'5", 235 pounds that can play on the end and play tackle. And you best believe if he's USC, they say he's leaning toward the University of Southern California. But whoever gets this young man, best believe you're talking about a young man that can develop into a top draft pick in the NFL. That's what kind of potential Mr. Kaiba Thibodeau has.
He's the #1 player right now in the country by none. There's only one guy that I've seen with his pass rushing skills, and I've seen this gentleman play in high school as a senior. I was a junior in college, came on for the high school playoffs when I was a junior at the University of Arkansas.
Yes,
that was the great Reggie White, who played at Chattanooga Howard. But if you really want to mention the young man, I'm putting him in the same class as Reggie White. Yes, I am.
That's high.
But if you want to talk about first step,
yes, sir,
explosive, he reminds me so much of the young man that went to South Miami, out of Miami, Florida. He's gone to heaven now.
Right.
Played at Alabama, Derek Thomas.
Wow. Well, you
just a bunch of the first step now.
Right, I got you.
Explosive, just like Derek Thomas. This guy, by none, is the best player pound for pound in high school football.
Yeah, he's going to dominate his senior year. I'm not going to say easily, but he's going to be a very dominant force, and he has got his ranking honestly by far. Now, this is the Student Athlete Playbook segment on 100 Yards of Sports with the Atlanta Voice. Tune in every week as we talk about sports, as we talk about high school football, because we are the most informative, entertaining, and community-based show on the planet. Hey, I'm Barry Brown.
I'm Vincent Turner.
This is the Student Athlete Playbook with the Atlanta Voice.
Ooh.